usually zoomed in so you can't see how small the crowd is, and then tell you that everybody in Venezuela supports the U.S. invading their own country. But let's
also look at this. If you didn't wonder who this benefits, always when you see one of these international conflicts, look at who is excited, look who's happy, look who it benefits. You see, this is Mike Huckabee.
Let's bring in U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, and it's going to make sense why we're bringing him on in just a moment, because what happens in Venezuela, what happens in Israel, everything's connected. Iran. First off, let me ask you this, Ambassador.
You see, we're going to react to Sneako reacting to Israel. And did you hear what this man just said? He said that everything that happens, it's all connected, guys, okay? Whenever America does an action, Israel is not far behind. And whenever Israel does action, America is not far behind. They're always with each other. Always with each other. Why? Because Israel has major influence, okay? Whenever you're going to talk about Israel to someone who's like, they always want to try to defend Israel for some reason, you always tell them they have a major influence, okay? That's 100% a fact, without doubt.
Your reaction when you saw what happened with the military and law enforcement operation in Venezuela?
Let's see.
Well, my first reaction, Rob, was to say, praise the Lord and thank you, President Trump. A lot of people may not make the connection as to why this matters to us in the Middle East.
Listen.
What they don't know is that Hezbollah is very active in Venezuela. There has been a 20-year partnership between Iran and Venezuela under both the two previous dictators.
Iran poses the biggest threat against Israel right now.
The ties are deep, and Hezbollah operates in 12 different countries throughout South America. It is not just a threat in the Western Hemisphere. It is a threat to the Middle East. So for the president to go after Venezuela not only deals with narco-terrorism and the many deaths of Americans who are killed by the poison of drugs, it is going to make life for those of us living in the Middle East much better, much safer to take Maduro out, to recognize that Hezbollah is active here, targeting not just Jewish people in all over South America, but using those tentacles to ultimately reach into the United States. This is good news for America, good news for the world.
And you see, they're going to use this. Israel's going to use this to say, hey, anybody supporting Palestine, you might be next. You might be next, because Maduro, he was one of the countries that supported the Palestinians. And Colombia is also another country that supports the Palestinians. So you see, this is a threat to them. And that's their plan. You understand? And Trump wants to go into Colombia. And he said other countries as well. All right? So this is, two birds, one stone. One for Israel and one for America.
In cahoots with the Maduro regime. They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere. And then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself.
You fell for it again, stupid. Stupid. More refugees. Israel benefits. We're in another conflict. Stupid.
Venezuela?
Yeah, so this interview was done 3 days before they took Maduro and captured him and his wife. You see, guys, they're planning these things, okay? And we're always a step behind, okay? We're always a step behind. And there's more that's gonna happen, okay? As I just said, they talked about Colombia. They talked about Greenland. They talked about, other countries in the South America. So this is just the beginning, guys. Okay? And 2026 just started. And we have 3 more years of Donald Trump, guys. 3 more years. People forget. They think we're like halfway done. No, we have 3 more years left, okay? 3 more years. 3 more years of this guy and his administration, okay? And I'm like, I'm surprised that, people like Sneako, they're surprised that people like Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate, they would say these things. You understand? Maybe it's because they weren't paying attention. I don't blame him. Maybe he was busy. But this is no surprise if you were looking, okay? Looking around. But inshallah, Allah helps those who need help, inshallah. But we'll see you on the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.